Welcome to the third part of nutrition in animals. So far, we have looked at ingestion, in which food is put in the mouth, digestion, in which food is broken down in the mouth, in the stomach, in the duodenum, and in the jejunum. We have also looked at absorption, which happens in the ileum. Now we're looking at assimilation, which is the incorporation and usage of absorbed food substances in the body. So the question is, those food substances that have been absorbed, fatty acids, amino acids, glycerol, glucose, fructose, sucrose, when they have been absorbed, what are they used for? So after absorption, the digestive end products are transported in the body to the liver by a vein called hepatic portal vein. The food is then assimilated as follows. So note that the food is taken from the alimentary canal, then used by the hepatic portal vein. Let me just say that again. The hepatic portal vein takes the absorbed food from the alimentary canal and takes it to the liver. So how is the food used? So the food is used as follows. So we start with monosaccharides, which are glucose, fructose, and galactose. So glucose is mainly used as a substrate for tissue respiration in the mitochondria. A substrate is something that's going to be used up to form products. So in the mitochondria, remember, it's the powerhouse of the cell. That's where energy is made. Okay, so how is that energy made? It is made from glucose. Glucose is broken to make energy. Okay, so when you feel like you don't have energy, just drink something, some sugar, maybe some Ziggy, which has glucose in it, and it will give you energy. So this is what we are learning here, something that we already know. So in case there is excess glucose, it is converted to glycogen, which is stored in the muscle and the liver. Okay, so in case there is just excess glucose, it is changed to glycogen. But again, the body can store a certain amount of glycogen. If you have eaten a lot of sugars, which of course the body cannot have enough storage, all of it that it can manage to convert to glycogen, it has converted, and there's still remainder of glucose. What happens? The glucose is changed to fats. Okay, so if there's still some excess glucose, it is converted to fat and stored in the adipose tissue under the skin. So just below your skin there is a tissue, so that tissue is where this fat is going to be stored. Okay, so if this keeps on happening, you can end up appearing to be fat because you have fat under your skin. You understand the science of gaining now. This process are influenced by a hormone called insulin, which is secreted by the pancreas. So this insulin, we're going to deal with it later, but just know that this conversion from glucose to glycogen is facilitated by a hormone called insulin. So fructose and galactose are also assimilated in the same way as glucose, no difference. Next, we go to amino acids. Amino acids are assembled to make the proteins required by the body. Excess amino acids are deaminated by the liver. So, of course, your body needs proteins. For example, if you break your fingernail, if you cut yourself, you need proteins to rebuild. You need proteins to repair. You need proteins to grow. Okay, so when amino acids are taken inside the body, they are put together to make proteins, so that there should be some proteins for repair, for growth, for replacement of damaged tissues and the likes. But excess of the proteins are deaminated by the liver. To deaminate is to change the amino acid into a compound called urea. So let me just write this. Deamination is the process by which amino acids are converted to urea by the liver. So this urea is a substance that ends up making urine. we're going to learn how this is converted to urine. So urea is one of the major components of urine. Okay, so that urine has some amino acids, because the amino acids is going to be converted to urea, and then so that they can be taken outside the body by urinating. Next, we look at glycerol and fatty acids. So these ones, just like proteins, they are chemically combined to make fats. So these fats, just like what I mentioned on excess glucose that cannot be converted to glycogen, which is stored under the skin in a tissue called adipose tissue. So the same is true for fats. So excess fats are stored in the adipose tissue under the skin, and also around delicate body organs such as the brain. So even those ones even that fat which comes from converted glucose is also stored around delicate body organs such as the brain, so that maybe when you are involved in an accident, then there is some sort of vibration that can end up damaging your brain. This fat around your brain is going to protect the brain. It's going to absorb the shock. So the excess fats are stored in the adipose tissue, under the skin, and around delicate body organs. So next, we're done with assimilation. We just want to see we're going to the next stage. We have looked at ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation. Now egestion. So egestion, of course, involves the large intestines. So these are made of the caecum, the colon, and the rectum. So made of the caecum, the colon, and the rectum. So what does each do? Well, this one is not going to be direct, as you're going to see. So the first one is, it's going to be easier. That's what I meant to say. It's going to be easy, as it's not complicated. So the first one I'm going to start with is the caecum. So what I'm talking about is this. This is the large intestines here. So this part is the caecum. Then this is the colon. Okay. Then here is the rectum. So we start with the caecum. So the caecum has a projection at the base known as the appendix, which has no use in the human body. So here, the caecum has this, which is called the appendix. No one knows its use. Okay, but it's there. Then the colon, this part, carries out absorption of water from the feces. Okay, so this is where now the water that you drink is now removed, and it's going to be put in the body, in the colon. That's where the absorption of water occurs. Finally, the rectum, this part now. So the rectum stores feces temporarily before they are digested and continues the absorption of water. So in the rectum here, the waste food products are going to be stored as feces, but water is going to be absorbed. The absorption of water will still continue happening. The same that was happening in the colon, even here to continue. Meaning that the function of the rectum is to store feces and also to absorb water. Well, for the colon, it's just to absorb water. So now move to the liver. What are the functions of the liver? So the liver is the largest internal organ in the human body and performs a wide range of functions, including the following. So I'm just going to take a look at a few. So the first is destruction of old red blood cells, resulting in formation of bile, which is important in emulsification of fats. So red blood cells that are odd, they are broken down so that bile is made, which is used to emulsify fats. The second function is deamination of excess amino acids, resulting in formation of urea, which we are discussing. The third is detoxification of poisons and alcohol by converting them to less toxic substances. So when you drink alcohol, you give your liver a job, that is to remove the poison in the alcohol. So the process is called detoxification, the removal of toxins in poisons and alcohol. The fourth function is conversion of excess glucose to glycogen and storage of glycogen, thereby regulating the level of blood sugar. So this one we've also discussed. So the reason why excess glucose is converted to glycogen is to make sure that there is a balanced levels of blood sugar. Too much blood sugar can cause sugar disease. So we continue. So number 5, manufacture of red blood cells in babies. So the liver is the one that makes red blood cells in babies. Number 6, transamination. So this is the process of changing amino acids from one type to another. So it changes amino acids from one type to another. Amino acids have got types. So the liver is responsible for changing them from one type to another. Next, synthesis of plasma proteins such as prothrombin, fibrinogen, globulins, and albumin. So these are plasma proteins. We're going to learn about them when we do transport in man. Yeah, so the liver is the one that makes them. Number 8, storage of some vitamins, e.g. vitamin A and some mineral ions. Okay, so these are stored in the liver. And finally, production of heat through a wide range of reactions. Okay, so when you are running, what makes your body warm? It's the liver. It does lots of reactions, thereby keeping your body warm. Then what are some of the diseases that that the liver faces or suffers? So the first is called hepatitis, which is just the inflammation of the liver which may result from infection by a virus called hepatitis virus. The next one is hepatomegaly. So this is where the liver grows in size beyond normal. So it's the enlargement of the liver. And finally, cirrhosis. This is the hardening of the liver tissue resulting from poisoning or excess intake of alcohol. So when you keep on drinking alcohol, of course, part of the alcohol is undergoes detoxification, but not all of it. Because of that, part of it can end up destroying the liver. So we end this part with common elements of the alimentary canal. So now we are looking at all the diseases that the digestive system suffers. The first is diarrhea, which is the passage of watery stool resulting in dehydration and loss of mineral ions from the body. So it is caused by intake of food or drinks that are contaminated with a pathogen. So if you eat some food that are contaminated, you may end up having diarrhea. The pathogens cause inflammation of the intestinal lining leading to diarrhea. So remember, absorption of water occurs in the intestines, the large intestines to be specific. So now if they are inflamed, they fail to absorb that water. Therefore, you're not going to have water in your body, and the feces are going to be watery. They are going to have too much water because there is no absorption, hence diarrhea. Next is constipation, which is difficult defecation due to hardness and dryness of feces resulting from insufficient roughage and water in the diet. Remember, we talked about roughage and that it prevents constipation. So here is where we again mention the importance of roughage. So it may also result from keeping the feces in the rectum for too long, which causes the rectum to absorb too much water, making the feces hard and dry. The next ones which are common, which most of us know, of course, maybe diarrhea is the most common, stomach ulcers. So an ulcer is defined as an open sore that produces toxic matter. Stomach ulcers may result from overproduction of pepsin and hydrochloric acid, or when the mucus layer in the stomach is not sufficiently thin. Okay, so when the hydrochloric acid is secreted in the stomach, if the mucus has not protected the holes of the stomach, this hydrochloric acid can end up hitting into the holes, and therefore you're going to have sores which become ulcers. Next are what are called hemorrhoids or piles. So this is a condition where the veins in the rectum become swollen and eventually burst, causing pain and blood stains too. It may be caused by frequent constipation. So you keep on constipating, at the end of the day you end up destroying the veins, or making the veins to become swollen. Then at the end of the day they are going to burst and they are going to cause you pain, and of course there is going to be blood. So these are hemorrhoids. So this marks the end of digestion as we know it, on malnutrition. The next part, it's an independent topic, but of course it's under malnutrition. It's going to be based on dentition, where we're going to learn about dental formula. Happy solving.